No, anything else?
Today's Thursday, right?
No, keep your papers, keep your papers.
I was here Monday.
Okay.
This is gonna fuck me.
All right, welcome Nemo to the stage.
Woof, woof, woof. On a hot, blazing Saturday afternoon, after I had eaten the lunch that my mom had made, I was getting ready to go to Dixie Sunday school. Back in the city where I lived, it was obligated for almost every child in the city to go to Dixie. So the last thing I wanted to do was miss Dixie because we had this very strict teacher there. This teacher would not let you miss a single day or be late for their class because they believed that if you missed Dixie, then you didn't know your studies. So as I was getting ready to go to Dixie, my siblings, which normally don't go with me, said they wanted to come with me today because they have heard there were some wild dogs roaming around in the neighborhood. That didn't frighten me a bit. That didn't frighten me, but a character inside me was making me scared and drawing horrifying images of a dog chasing me. But I kept telling myself that I was not scared, and if the dog chased me, I would fight the dog back. I truly didn't know how, but at least I had some confidence in me. So after I got ready, I left the house with my siblings. While we were walking on the street, my sister kept telling me about how she would fight the dog with a big brown branch that she had in her hands. The branch looked like it would scare the dog, but I didn't know quite well because it had these huge black thorns that made my sister's hand hurt and had bruises as if she dumped her hand in a pool of blood. I kept telling her to put the branch down because her hands were really red and bruised up. But she would not listen because she thought that if she protected us from the dog, then we would owe her back. I knew that she knew that I had nothing to give her back, but she kept saying, oh, for each bruise, it's $2. I wasn't quite sure where I would get the $2 from, because at the end of the day, I was a South African girl living in one of the wildest cities in Africa. Therefore, I didn't work and had no money. But I kept nodding as if I was ready to pay her and had the $2 right in my pocket. When we were close to Dixie and had about 2 blocks to go, we heard horrifying and weird noises from the back. We didn't know exactly what it was, but it sounded familiar. So we just kept walking as if we didn't hear a single thing. But for some reason, that sound felt as if it was coming towards us. My siblings looked at each other and knew exactly what to do. But me, being the curious child I was, I had the time to turn around and see what it was. But little did I know that me turning around was the worst decision I have ever made. Because as soon as I turned back up front, I could no longer see my siblings because they had ran to Dixie. I thought to myself and felt like everything in this world had betrayed me. I turned to my right, looking for a way out of my thoughts or something that could be there for me. As I am turning to my right, I see something in the corner of my eyes. Thinking it was my siblings, I fully turn to my right and see a companion who also felt betrayed. I could see the pain in those eyes. I wanted to encourage her and tell her not to give up on my siblings the same way they gave up on us. I wanted to give it hope and motivation. But seconds later, I slapped myself thinking I was going crazy for speaking to an old branch. The old branch looked as if it was telling me not to betray it either. I pondered over the branch and almost thought it was listening to our conversation and heard that my sister said she was going to protect us. I knew that both I and the branch had one simple question that had 10 different answers. Why my sister decided to leave us. I kept repeating in my head, I didn't know how to feel. Should I be angry about my siblings betraying me or should I be scared because there was this wolf-looking dog behind me? This dog was white and had great stripes. Its eyes were emerald green and it was staring at me trying to tell me something. But I could not understand. Different thoughts were roaming around in my head. After each one, I remarked, that's a dumb idea. But I was running out of time. The dog was standing 5 feet away from me. I was still thinking about what to do, and for some reason, that same character that was drawing horrifying images in my head was now telling me to be brave and to be smart. So I decided to be brave and thought running around a silver big pole that was a few feet away from me was a good idea. My reasoning was that if I ran around the pole, maybe I would make the dog dizzy. I really didn't know how, but I did it anyways. After a couple of rounds around the pole, I got dizzy myself and remembered a quote my teacher once said, that when something like whatever goes around comes around. Seconds after that, I blacked out and I fainted. After a while, I heard noises around me which really did not sound clear. I tried understanding what they said, but all I could hear was silence. I tried to slightly open my eyes, but it was blurry and felt like I was underwater, and it felt like I was underwater. I tried picking up my hand so I could clear my vision, but my hand felt like it was under and between two huge rocks, and every time I tried to move one of the rocks so I could pick up my hand, the other rock would put pressure on it so I don't move. My entire self felt like I was in one of those nightmares where you feel like you're falling off a building. And then instead of me waking up from that nightmare, I get splashed with ice cold water and got slapped a few times so I could be conscious again. I hear something, and it sounds clear this time. Somebody's calling my name. Soon after a couple of minutes when I'm able to move, or after those huge rocks have given up, I drink some water. I was finally awake, and the first thing I said was, dog. There is no dog, Nemo. My mom sighed. Then I heard the dog's owner say, Fluffy doesn't do anything to anyone. He just wants to play around. I thought that was a stupid name for a dog that looked dead horrifying, and it was 100% not fluffy enough to be named Fluffy. I knew I didn't want to play with anyone's dog. All I really wanted to do was go to Dixie in one piece. Thank you.